Um, right. I think there are 5 days, and we start with what is the trends and technologies in terms of instrumentation towards healthcare. That is a key theme over here. Probably let me share a small discussion, hardly around 45 minutes or so, with you all. What is the trends and what is happening in the research, and how we are going to make as an academician what we are supposed to do and where we are going to end up. And that is the glimpse of what is the today's discussion with from my side. And followed by any questioners, I'm happy to connect to you all. Uh, so just 1 minute, I'll share my Chira, my presentation visible?
Yes, sir, visible, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Very good morning once again. And my today's topic is with trends in the healthcare. And I'm just presenting towards the Atal FTP for instrumentation telemedicine on September today. So there are various fields in biomedical. We started with clinical, medical, biotech, cellular, biomechanics, biomaterial. So and so, I think all the academicians participating over here might be knowing about this structure, which is the basic disciplines of biomedical, where a lot of fields are available. And what is the trend in it? I'm just shortlisting. There are roughly around 10 technologies. It's going to be changing the entire healthcare. I renamed the entire thing as digital technologies. Why I'm just saying to the India is now moving towards the digital era, and a lot of technologies have been putting in place with respect to digital technologies, and especially healthcare systems, to make a very good relationship between the medical professionals as well as with the patients. The other objective of these technologies is to provide a cheaper, a faster, and more effective solutions for their diseases. I think this is where we start with. The most important first technology which will going to rule the entire biomedical domain is AI. Everybody might have heard about this one, artificial intelligence. This has a potential to redesign the complete solution for healthcare, right from the medical records, right from the treatment plans, identification of diseases, create a bigger way of identifying the drugs for a particular domain, even for the current actor, which is a palette for medical professionals. This is a major one. I'm just giving up the glimpse of 10 new trends, and I'll just touch up one or two for the discussion part. So this is one of the key areas, right from the starting to ending, from the records onwards until the patient, what do you call, operations, everywhere, AI is going to play a role, and it has started already in place. And the new terminology coming over here is AI-based drug discovery and drug delivery. That is the trend, especially with respect to the recent, what do you call, the COVID-19 scenarios. And the other buzzword comes into mind, and which is keeping a role, is VR, virtual reality, right? The recent study from Harvard Business School is saying that a surgeon who has been trained through virtual reality, when compared to the normal surgeon, the performance is roughly around 230% increased. It means the clinical trials, when the VR trained physician is touching the surgical node, is able to clearly identify and gives without any error. That is the advantage and accuracy where NVR is embedded with respect to what you call the medical domain. And even it is not only for what you call the surgical things alone, right? And even in terms of a complete virtual solution has been provided, especially for women when they are getting into labor pain. Even for pain relieving also, VR plays a very vital role. Okay, so during the labor pain, they will be provided with a VR headset, and they will be given with something else. Their entire mind will be diverted towards particular soothing landscapes, whatever they want to make it, or mild musics, so that they will be get rid of their pain during their delivery. And that is one of the recent tests which has been happened in Harvard University. Right, the third one comes into AR. Once VR is coming, automatically AR is also a part of it. Now VR and AR are almost syncing together. Okay, but the thing is, what is the difference? AR is nothing but augmented reality. Everybody knows about it. In two aspects, it varies. One is that it is not virtual; it is real. It's augmented with the actual reality. So you will not lose the real touch. That's where it is. And also, the information of eyesight is quicker compared to virtual reality, where there is a very big difference between what we are going to make it. So coming to this part, AR will become a driving force in the future of medicine on either side, not only from the healthcare provider, automatically from our end, receiver side also, right? And this is helping all the medical practitioners and students to prepare better for the real life operations, and it helps the surgeons to enhance their capabilities as well. To showcase some of the AR based applications, right? AR can save lives through showing defibrillators nearby by wearing the AR glasses. Google Glass is one of the major example, right? And it is able to find out by helping the new mothers, she is struggling with breastfeeding, right? And it can describe the patients better with their symptoms. You know, the new technique has come, I think in abroad it has already been in practice. It has attached to a few of the top-notch hospitals. They are finding veins through AR screen. You know, I'm just running over here. Look at when an IV has been injected, you know how much pain we will be able to get when a nurse is unable to predict or correctly identify a nerve. So here, this is the image which has been showing for the AR example, a normal hand and the back projection with a small IR rays. Look at it, it is appropriately connected to the 3D fusion. If you look at, this helps the practitioner to identify an appropriate vein to provide IV for us. You know how much good at it? They don't want to find, they don't want to pat on our wrist, they don't want to give our ankle, pressurizing it, putting up a knob and then tightening it up, right? A lot of what do you call the pains we'll be getting, and sometimes for many of the human body, they were unable to get the first time attempt itself to get in the nerve, it gets bleeded, lot of issues is happening. Now this AR is finding out a way, providing, let the practitioner wears the AR lens, immediately they'll be able to scan the entire vein and the model it and identify. Instead of putting up an X-ray scanner, I think this is very cost-effective and better solution, right? Pharma companies, why not they can provide more innovative drug information, how it is happening, what kind of problems the drug is happening and how it is implementing, right? And it can assist the surgeons appropriately, and the entire anatomy of the body can be brought into AR, and it almost teaches the real students, medical students, in a much better way. Few examples I could like to share with you all. These are the recent trends. This is the third one, started with AI. virtual reality, the augmented reality, like this. Okay. The fourth trend, which is going to play a very vital role, is about the wearable sensors. We call trackers, wearables, right? Uh, it starts from our BMI onwards, body mass index, right? Your stress level, your capability in terms of cognitive level, how energetic you are, right? And what will be your fitness level. Everything, I think a single device, when you either you can put it on the wrist or whichever modality. Now this is a new thing which is coming into the market. Yeah, it's not only monitoring and then provides input to the what do you call the patient. Also, this shares the information to the physician who is remotely available, and it can have a connecting over that, which can control the health and make more informed decisions based on the thing. So this is almost in many of the small devices has come out in the market, but there is a lot way to go. A complete device should be capable of collecting all the information about the body, and it has to inform to the patient as well as to the physician, so that we are more connected, we are more cautious about our health, we are able to get the solution immediately without having an abnormality in the body. That is where the wearables is coming in. A little bit change on the wearables we call medical tricorder, a single device which can diagnose, analyze whatever device it is, the disease it is. The previous one is only a measuring device where it can share the information from the remote, but here it's a gadget. Okay, when you connect to a human body, right from your ECG, heart rate, your oxygen level, temperature, BP, and whatnot. So it can try to provide based on the symptoms available. The earlier one only database. It has to transfer it to the medical practitioner, and he or she has to find out what is the problem and give a solution to us. But this device, right, immediately takes the symptoms of all the vital inputs from our body, and it diagnoses what could be your problem and gives it appropriate analysis on it, then a good diagnosis, what could be the medications, right? And one example I just shown from Viatom, there is a company who has come out with this tricorder. There is a single device which measures roughly around 8 to 9 vital measures from the human body. This is another trend in medical domain. Okay, technology is coming in a further role. Coming to the sixth methodology, okay, there is something called genome sequencing. Okay, we might have heard about blood test. We'll go to the blood test, we'll try to find what is the problem in it, and we'll be able to find in what drug is connecting to this blood, what is happened, what about the RBC, what about the WBC, which is whatever the platelet count, more than that. But when it's come to the genome based, we call this an genome sequencing, nothing but a genetic test, which usually compared to that, it is cheaper in cost, and it is more what do you call sensitive to drug. It can give you multifactorial conditions, right? And even from our genome, we can able to find about the family history also. Okay, which is upcoming one. And just to share you with an example, a company called Habit, which is completely California based, is offering personalized diets based on genetic codes. Okay, it's a long way to come out to the entire market, but the research is completely on, and the people are looking at alternative to the regular blood test, which is predominantly finding out the medical trials. Okay, and this is another domain. The seventh domain will be drug development. Okay, now you know how much time we are now patiently waiting for an what do you call a vial is about to come for COVID-19. People are saying it is under the trial and we are awaiting. Hardly now it is 6 months down the time, and especially I'm talking about India. When you talk about China and the US, it was started in the December 2019 itself. Now we are almost in the end of September. Still we are unable to find a vaccine or a medicine to kill what is called the COVID-19 disease. So it is very too long, time consuming, and it is too expensive to keep a trial, and a lot of trials we have to make it, and it takes a lot amount of time and money. Whereas the technology is coming now is nothing with respect to, even it takes years together, at least minimum of 3 years to 4 years to find an vaccine for a particular the COVID like diseases. But now it has become much more quicker. Even that too, we find it is very long time. So the development methods like AI, the machine intelligence, right? The machine learning and all, what even in silico trial. These are all the new technologies coming in terms of drug development to give us cost effective, as well as in a shorter span of time, we'll be able to provide or develop drugs to cure a particular disease. Even this terminology is new to many one of us, so that's why I'm just putting up a note. AI, machine learning are all very familiar terminologies. In silico is nothing but a computer simulation, which is completely to develop and to create the regulatory evaluation for a medical product, even with or without intervention of a human kind. That is a new trend which is picking up in the recent days in terms of medical domain. Heard about the term bus term. We were looking at this for many years, probably more than a decade. Nanotechnology is very familiar, but in terms of medicine, it is very new now, right? Nano medicines, nanoparticles, nano devices. Okay, even now it has been taken it for cancer treatment. Small surgeons are able to make it. On this domain, there are a lot of research is happening. Okay, and the very big which is outcome comes out from that is pill caps, cameras, even very tiny than that of a small what do you call tablets, pills, which is useful for taking the biopsy samples. Biopsy samples are needed to identify a cancer from a human body. Only that will ensure there is a cancer is available. It takes even after taking biopsy, the results we have to wait for at least 2 to 3 days time now. But look at this diagnosis can be much more simpler by introducing the pill cams, and also this can be controlled remotely, and this can be used as a surgical one. So the future is depending on that. There is a company, it is a trademarked name, PillCam, that I'm just taken from the biomedical industry. Okay, PillCams is the one which has been now started testing for nano surgeries. Okay, and there is a lot amount of nano materials, nano particles, nano devices, nano what do you call surgeons are happening over there. Okay, and the next domain is about robotics. We heard about that robotics, and we now call Industry 4.0. Almost all the manufacturing industries are now looking into robotics. But what about healthcare? Okay, and this is also an exciting and very fast growing field. When you compare with the market strategy, around 140% growth has been happened in the last couple of years. Right from the robot, through surgical robot, to pharmabotics, disinfected robot, exoskeletons. Okay, and now this is where everybody might have heard about it. Due to COVID, I think the front runners are of the medical practitioners. Okay, they are also prone to get into the impact of COVID-19. So many of the hospitals, they are now provided disinfectant robots across the hospital areas. Okay, and even drug delivery is given through robotics. Okay, and one example I just shown, there is a robot has been developed from a company called Iki in Australia. Okay, it gives there is a child healthcare hospital. Okay, that provides the chronic illnesses are getting monitored and medicated through robots only for the entire thing. And even it also parallelly provides what kind of temperature the kid is having, what is his the kid's breathing rate, okay, during what you call the musics. So this gives how to cure the chronic illnesses without a human intervention. And that is a very huge potential and picking up market in medical field where robotics is playing a role. And the fourth, the last one, what you called 3D printing, in terms of, I said 10 technologies I just listed out. There are many more, and these are all very huge market and started its own, what do you call, implications in terms of medications. 3D printing. Okay. Now, earlier 3D printing is used for providing how our tooth can be, right? Then it has come to replacing the bones as a bone joints. Now it has started and gone into the deep into biotissues, limbs, pills, blood vessels, and whatnot. The list is keep going on. It is creating finger splints, it is creating organ models to help. Even it is able to replace 3D printed blood vessels. Now, even in our nearby city in Bangalore, people are now looking into surgeries for tumor. Okay, even how we are very familiar about heart surgery, we'll be using replacing the heart walls. Those are all 3D printed ones. These are all old technologies. Now they've gone into what you call this neurosurgical domain through 3D printing technologies. Okay, even they replace bones if it is getting fractured. Okay, synthetic organs, replicating human ears as like that. So what organ is there? Okay, you don't need to be an amputee. Furthermore, that's the trend it is picking up, and to the understanding level, which are all known to us. What I'm just listed, there are enormous amount of research is going on in deeper. So in my perspective, I've just looked at there are roughly around 10 new technologies which is now exponentially growing and has a very big market in the near future. That is where I just try to present to you all, where you can pick up wherever you want to work in your research. That is the purpose I'm just presented these 10 technologies. Where this is a very long research is also pending. And instead of focusing all where I'm just running out of time, I'll focus on any one. I'll start with the first one, artificial intelligence in healthcare. Okay, this is an integrated approach where the current practice people are able to what you call as how suboptimal handling of disease is happening. Okay, how the patient reacts is unpredictable. Whereas when we introduce ML, machine learning, what parameters such as symptoms, behavior, biochemical variables, pathologic variables, okay, with a completely designed software or tool, it can interact with the human brain and then try to produce an equivalent model. It can prevent or create effective learning. That learning will help us to increase the sensitiveness of the diagnostics as well as the specificness for the treatment. This is a major objective why AI is now putting into role. This is the trend where the biomedical engineering has started, the medical instrument has been coming into right from the artificial kidney in 1950s on. Later 1960s we came across with ultrasound. A lot of versions has come out now in the recent years. Computer assisted tomography, which is the key area or major development in 70s, MRI is the development in 80s, laser surgeries in 90s, and the present day genomes, microarrays, okay, and PETs, image-guided surgeries. These are all the relevant trends where all these present-day technologies are being backed up by artificial intelligence or machine learning, the renaming of that. Okay, the new technology products not only provide one-end solution, it needs to combine different technologies, crossing their borders, providing pharmaceutical problems, medical devices, materials connected with the human tissues, and give you an appropriate solution. This is the converging technology where put together we rename it as AI. Just to provide, many of you might be aware of it. If not, I'll just couple of minutes I'll just spend over what is AI is. It's completely an computer which is used to behave like an intelligent one, as like human brain with the minimal human intervention. Automation is everywhere, but about the human intervention is much ahead. But whereas AI will replace that, even without human intervention, AI can perform much better. This machines, as well as computer programs, whatever we call, is capable of solving a lot of problems, creating a lot of solutions similar to the kind of human brain, as human brain keeps learning together with from data. Okay. And among these artificial intelligence, a few of the things I just listed out is NLP, natural language processing, where pattern recognition, visual perception, decision making are playing a role, where machine learning is the excited area where computational approaches are being taken automatically to sense the data. Okay, it becomes smarter over time, and one good advantage of this machine is that it is not distracted, it is not overloaded, it does not have short-term memory, it does not have sleep deprivation. These are all the very major problems during the human intervention in medications. Okay, where AI will be very particular. I'm not saying that AI will replace doctors, but AI will assist doctors accurately to the code. That is my debate here. Okay, this AI application can be in two main branches. One is virtual, other one is physical. Where it can be implemented is wherever the repetition work is high, we can try to provide AI. Wherever there is a need of fast and more accurate results, why not we provide AI? Okay. Whenever there is assistance required to the professionals, the AI can be provided help. Okay. Whenever there is a lot of waiting queues, wherever we need automation, we'll try to provide AI, which can much more faster. And I'm keeping a quote, these machine learning, deep learning will not replace clinicians or medical practitioners. It will assist them in a much better way. The two domains which we named, one is virtual branch, other one is physical branch. Coming to the virtual branch, completely we call the virtual component is called machine learning. Some terminology we may be renaming it as deep learning. Through experience, we'll try to learn what is about it. There are major types of machine learning algorithms available, classified under three categories. One is unsupervised, without human intervention. You deploy a device or a tool. That tool is capable of find patterns by creating lot of samples, read by its own. That is unsupervised. When it's come to the supervised, we'll classify, we'll keep some what you call thresholds. You predict, you identify, you classify, and then say, yeah, based on this particular type of inputs, maybe identifying tumor is based on the supervised algorithms. Okay. Even the current days, they are using only AI. From the MRI scan, okay, the system automatically identifies. It doesn't make sense. A doctor has to sit for 1 hour to go through entire MRI and identify possible way of tumors in the human brain. You don't need that. An AI algorithm will be able to classify and say there is a tumor and what kind of tumor, at what size, what is where it is available. Everything can be given as an outcome when you provide a supervised AI algorithm for it. Provided we should know the predetermined data from the lot of samples. Okay. Whereas the third category is very much useful in medical domain, reinforcement learning. I think that is where deep learning algorithms have been coming into picture. Okay, it rewards, finds out strategies, creates a quicker solution than taking time-consuming jobs as compared to the previous two methods. This reinforcement learning is now classifying and then learning much better than the other two algorithms in machine learning, which is the hard cake of the AI method. I think this is the first categorization in the virtual domain, whereas in the two methods, one is the virtual, other one is the physical. The physical domain is coming with respect to AI can assist physician. It helps the clinical decisions and making the decision makers. This is how the symbol is look like. You try to find symptoms, what analysis you need, what type of features the patient is, provide a diagnosis. Yeah, this can be, yeah, the chest pain is happening for this. These are some of the images of cancer, right? And how to create the classification, what kind of cancer it was. So to provide better clinical decisions, AI is playing a role. Even human judgment can sometimes be proactive in terms of a what do you call it, identifying a wrong sense. Whereas, especially radiology departments, replace human judgment by providing an automatic solution through AI. Okay, and it can be able to diagnose the disease much earlier. It can predict this outcome of the disease, what will happen over a period of time, what can be the treatment for it. Okay, reinforce the pharmacological management, reduce the diagnostic and therapeutic errors, and it can be very much safety to the patients with very huge cost savings. AI can extract information from the large patient population and try to provide a database for it, which assists the real-time inferences by creating or providing a very good health outcome prediction. These are all the benefits my AI is taking in terms of virtual as well as physical domain. In the physical branch, these are the places where I can take my AI into medicine. Physical objects, medical devices, sophisticated robots, or even the surgical robots, delivery robots, care bots, whatnot. So in these two domains, AI plays a very vital role in the medical field. This is a small example I'm just shown over here, which is helping us to identify where the AI has been placing in terms of applications in medical domain. And look at this picture. This is the robots are being used to deliver treatment. This is the robotic surgery. Okay, here it is assisted with the help of doctors. Now it is even without doctors. Okay, whereas to monitor the effectiveness also, instead of one-to-one, the robots can find out what kind of symptoms a patient is, an automated system. Okay, you find out what all symptoms you are being having. The robot can intervene and identify for all these symptoms. Why not? This can be a possible what do you call a treatment that suggests the remote care human men try to provide similar to the kind of a virtual medical practitioner. So these are the areas where AI is now finding a very huge role. And what drives AI in terms of healthcare? Okay. The individual healthcare expenses are exponentially increasing day by day. And we have the population where geriatric populations have become larger. And the current days technologies, we don't have imbalance in workforce, healthy workforce, and we call patients. The global healthcare expenditure is increasing. Lot of shortage in terms of technicians and nurses. Okay, and the human intervention leads a lot of what you call as uh, problems in terms of medical practitioners because they are tired with respect to handling large amount of cases where whenever there is an technical support given to the medical practitioner in any one of these domains, definitely the productivity or the solution given to the patient will be increasing much higher in multifold compared to the previous one, and that drives it. Okay, whereas this drive will enable AI will be able to preventively give and with the precision medicine, with it improves the experience of the patients, it improves the outcomes, it increases the intelligence of the clinician. Okay, unnecessary works can be removed from the physicians, create opportunities for clinical trials. It gives a solution for the challenges in the healthcare domain. Okay, and it creates perceptual, what do you call, clinical trials. Okay, and doctors does not know us until otherwise we go and sit and explains about our history. It's no, here on it won't going to be playing a role. Our database, all the data
Sir, I think there is an audio issue.
Yeah, ma'am, am I getting?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now it's audible, sir.
Okay, okay.
It was breaking a bit. Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for intervening.
Thank you, sir.
And it creates earlier, you go to the hospital before going to the doctor, the specialist, especially in talking about specialist, right? We'll be set up with 2-3 rounds. They will take up our history. They will find out possible what do you call our history of the parents, grandparents, whether you have any similar kind of issues. I think this is time consuming and it is only giving an appropriate finding, and they are giving a trial medicine to us, check out whether we are responding to the particular medicine. Then they will go to the actual diagnosis with a lot of clinical trials. Now, those can be just like that replaced if we use what do you call the devices through AI. We can have a patient history wherever we go for clinical trials. Literally, it is trying to give about the patient in a matter of time, in a matter of seconds. The what do you call physician is able to analyze our history and comes to the point of what is the problem and what is the symptom, what could be the disease, how we can able to provide a solution for it. Okay. But the thing is, we were seeing that lot of solutions will be able to make through AI. But look at the challenges AI is there. So the major challenges AI looks at, once there is a positive sign in any one of the technology, there is a pros and cons always will be there. One of that is the cost of development. Okay, it's very huge, and you don't need to say that it is multifold when compared to the regular clinical trials. The initial capital requirement to provide these kind of technologies is very huge. The running cost I'm talking about is very less. Once it has been developed, right, and furthermore, the utilization becomes much easier, but the high investment is required. The integration issues, the ethical issues, data have been stored, completely connected to the computers. What about the privacy, hacking? Lot of issues have been happening in the market. What about this? Yes, this is also prone to hacking because connected to the internet when it is come to the real world solution. And even many of the medical practitioners are reluctant in adopting AI fear is that it will replace humans. It is not so. Definitely, the number of human requirement may be less in direct
Sir, I
mode.
think there is again an issue with your audio.
Am I now correct? Madam, is it clear now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll connect with my. Just 1 second. I'll connect with my headphone. My audio is better now?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
People thinks that the unemployment may happen due to AI is going to replace all our jobs. No, the way of jobs may differ. That is where I'm looking into that. In medical domain, especially I'm talking about, it cannot replace a doctor, it cannot replace a clinician, it cannot replace a drug inventor. No, it is not so. It is going to assist. Maybe the number of people, manpower requirement may be less, but there is a huge domain in terms of creating the solution for it. In the other end, okay, the employment may be higher, but in one end, in the application end, there will be a little bit unemployment may happen. That is one of the reluctance. People are not taking that in serious. Data privacy, security is another major issue. Okay, whereas what do you call the regulations? It can be from the state, it can be from the country, it can be between countries. Okay, there a lot of regulations. We are unable to share the data between one to another. Okay, and there is another hiccup which, as a technical people, we need to understand is that there is a large amount of lackness in interoperability. I'm just put up a terminology over here. If I am trying to provide a solution in one domain of AI, it cannot be connected with another AI. So there, now the AI forum is looking into that, similar to the kind of our communication, right? There should be a common protocol to interconnect between large amount of technologies, especially in terms of AI. It's a long way to go, but they have started defining architectures for AI, and one algorithm solution can be interchanged to another one, but it is only in the trials. It needs a large amount of time to adapt and go to the next level. Okay, and rapid software updates, iterations. Okay, so this is all very big potential challenges, and any one of us in this forum, if we take up a problem in this domain and try to find a solution for it, become a very big solution or technical answer as the engineering domain we are trying to provide to the medical field. And that's where my intention is to provide challenges than appreciating the innovations and upgradations. Our focus should be on the challenges and how to provide an engineering solution for these challenges. When you look at the future Indian scenario in terms of AI, we need to have a very big collaboration between medical and technical institutions. Honestly speaking, we were lagging in it. If you take up what do you call the European countries and Americans, most of the hospitals are connected directly with technical universities. Okay, whereas in terms of in terms of technical connections, excuse me, just a minute. Sorry, meeting 10 minutes. In terms of collaboration, there is a very huge gap between medical and technical institution, and we are working in our own domain. We are not collaborating each other, which is a hiccup in terms of joint research is not happening. Very few labs across India, they are now interfacing between medical institutions, medical hospitals with technical institutions. Okay, and if that becomes much thinner, if we connect each other, that will be very good what you call way for large amount of what you call medical solutions from the engineering field. We are lagging in it. We are only in the application side. We are not creating large amount of solutions in the engineering domain. Okay. There is as like a firewall, we have a very big filtering between clinical load and the hope of IPR, and that need to be removed out. Only then lot of IPRs can be protected, and that will provide up solutions in terms of Indian domain. Okay, we need a large amount of funding where it is lacking, but frankly speaking, funding in biomedical research is now much more higher than any other research. It's a good sign in the recent years, maybe in a couple of years, but it's a very long way to go. More amount of funded towards research in medical domain, especially I'm talking about the engineering medical domain, needs to have that will provide more intelligent result oriented outcomes. Okay, and we have current status of medical records completely, it is in ad hoc position. Everywhere it is only in terms of books, handwritten one, but we are not completely taken into what you call automated one. If this is happening, a complete record of medical records need to be there for the entire people. Though we are a very huge populated country, but if we start from now on, okay, it is a very long way, and we need a large amount of data banks. Even the memory cannot be thought of how much record required for every individual available. Okay, only if that is there, the high sophisticated medical applications can be given to the layman, so that the level of living life will become much more better. Okay, and currently the data need to be captured in real time, which is not so exactly in all the things. Okay, and the institutions should promote their transformation into intelligent process. I think this is another domain where we need to look at. Even now we are looking into that. When you talk about MRI, only few hospitals says MRI has been stored digitally and been shared. Many of them still works with respect to the age-old CDs and DVDs. So we should get rid of it. Okay, and it should be transmitted as a online immediately. Now we are dealing with big data. Why not? This can be real-time captured and transmitted to the intelligent process for finding out a solution. Okay, this is where I'm now looking into that. There should be more amount of new scientific and clinical finding should be shared through open source. How many of you agree with me? To find a database, we are running behind the doctors and hospitals to authenticate the solution. Whereas few databases are available for any one of. Let us take MRI. This is how the MRI images are available. Maybe you can take with some downloaded MRI databases, but not from Indian scenarios. I hope you all agree with me. So that should be come out. Whatever what you call outcome we are going to create, all these researchers, medical practitioners should think that finding should be kept in open source, whereas the new startup of researchers need to improve much from that point onward. They don't need to do the same from the scrap. They don't need to do further. That's where the another hiccups, the Indian context is happening, and where we have to look forward. Okay, there is a lot of ethics, legal, logistical issues between interoperability. We need to look back it. I hope the government policies are looking forward this. Probably in the years to come, we may be able to get rid of all these issues in terms of AI-based research in terms of medical domain. Okay, simplification, readability, and clinical utility data sets is the other one, which will decrease the cost of the clinical trials. And this electronic medical or health records are very essential for the personalized medicine, which is the recent domain. And also, it will detect the diseases much earlier and prevent them from the targeted disease again and again. And this is the scenario from Indian context, where this all also creates a lot of problem statements. If you keenly look at each and every terminology what I used over here, if you find out some literature from this year, definitely you will find a lot of problems and solutions which is connected towards biomedical domain. It is not meaning that only ECG, MMG, EEG alone will be biomedical. Everywhere, wherever we are able to find a solution towards biological data, that also provides it. There are huge amount of problems to be solved, and I'm just giving it to you all, as most of you are all from the research domain or from the faculty end. You kindly share with your students, create some problem statements. Why not? We'll kindle the young minds to find a little bit solutions on this background. Okay, and to sum up what I'm just discussing, the future of AI in healthcare is transforming what we interact, how we consume information, and obtain goods and services across the medical industry. In healthcare, already AI is creating a very good change in terms of patient experience, even clinical practice medicines, and even now started in terms of pharmaceutical industry, how it operates automatically through AI. It is not the end. The journey has just begun from this end, and the future of AI depends on these areas. What I just listed out, NLP and ML will play a role. The healthcare, impact of patients, clinicians, pharma industries will tune towards a lot of upgradations. Okay, and the application of future AI in healthcare is not a one-fold, it is a multi-fold, and we need to unfold all these algorithms in terms of technologies towards a particular what you call medicine, and that will provide in the next 1 decade. AI is going to rule in, along with the new terminologies like AR, VR, connected to big data, connected to machine learning, will give us an overall solution in the medical domain, with giving much what you call sophisticated prediction, identification, providing curing the diseases. That's where I just looked into it. I think I'm just run like anything. I don't know how good you are able to grasp with me. I'm just share the details with the organizers. And now I'm just open with if any queries from my to my over to the organizers.